Hey guys, welcome back! Last episode we created the blank canvas for our housing tier and I am so ready to get started and build some of the actual houses. And today I think I want to tackle the two plots right at the start of the street. It just feels right to start here and slowly work our way towards the park. And I think we should start with this house on the left. However, we not only need to build the house and give it a garden, but we also need to build the stairs up to the next tier, because if we don't do that first, there's a chance I don't leave ourselves enough room, which wouldn't overly be very good for the citizens, who are honestly just trying to live their lives and go further up the town. So I think we will need to build ourselves some stairs, and then we can break ground on the first house. Well, unfortunately, the recording of the interior was pretty glitched, so I could only show you a little bit of it, but on the plus side, I can show you everything now, so hopefully you won't have missed too much. But before we head inside, we need to start with the stairs, and I ended up basically using the same design as we used between Lower Town and this tier, but I didn't end up adding all the supports. Partly because it would have been way too intrusive on this garden, but I also figure since it's a pretty small section, they can probably get away without the added support. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to try and turn the stairs into a feature of this garden rather than just being an issue. So the lovely folks who live here use the stairs as a perfect shelter for their table, and they also use it for some very aesthetic lighting, which creates a pretty awesome vibe. I also, while we're talking about the garden, have to say how much I like this shelf. I've done similar in the past just using trapdoors, but the shelves as the vertical supports really adds some extra strength, which I think is perfect for outdoor shelving. After all, this shelf has to survive wind and weather, so we can't have it being too flimsy. And if we venture inside, we have a lovely open plan kitchen, dining, living room, which, while I don't personally love the orange colour scheme, is a very nice space. It's such a difference to be working in a space this size versus what we were working with in Lower Town. It's kind of crazy. But ultimately, I had no problem filling this space, and I think this little reading nook is possibly my favourite bit of the room. It just looks like it would be so cozy, I can just imagine curling up with a book in it. And as for the bedroom, it's once again a nice big room with much more space than we're used to working with. But it has plenty of storage, an even bigger bookshelf, and another shelf, but this time it's indoors, so we've used the slightly flimsier version because I just love the look of warp trapdoors. And I think my favourite thing about this room is actually the lighting, which isn't something I usually care about too much as long as everything is spawn-proof, but this room just has very soft lighting with only the candles really providing any light, and it just feels very calming, I suppose. I don't know, there's just something about the light in this room which just very much appeals to me. But that is pretty much the house, and I am very happy with it. But we can't rest on our laurels for too long because we have another house that we want to tackle today. And I think this one is going to be even bigger, both in the house itself and also the garden. So let's get to work! And with that, we have our second house. And as promised, this house is definitely bigger. But first, let's take a look at the garden, which is also quite a bit larger than our first house. So first we have a lovely little vegetable patch, because there is nothing quite like being able to grow your own produce. And then further around the back, we have some sun loungers under an umbrella and a little flower bed, which is looking lovely. But I think the main thing I love about this garden is actually the view. You can just see so much from up here. You can see the market, the farm, the clock tower, so you always know what time it is, and you can even see the top of the masts if the ship in dock. And overall, I just love having this bird's eye view, and I'm pretty sure the people who live here would agree with me on that. And if we head inside, we have another lovely open plan area with a nice little sofa which looks out into the garden, and once again taking advantage of that amazing view. But what I really love in here is the kitchen, and whoever lives in here is a serious cook. I mean, 5 furnaces? I reckon they are probably an avid baker. And there's just something about this island which just makes me very happy. But if we head upstairs, this is actually our first 2-bedroom house in Castletown. So we have a pretty functional hallway, but then we can turn off into this little room, and this is definitely the smaller of the 2 rooms, but it's still pretty functional. I mean, we've got a double bed, a nice big bookcase, and a long desk with plenty of space to get some work done. But the master bedroom is definitely quite a bit bigger, with what would probably be a king-size bed, a wardrobe, a little workspace, and plenty of storage. But the best thing about this room is the huge window. You can lie in bed and watch the world happening around you, with a good view of the stairs heading up, a decent view of the sheep pen down at the farm, and once we've built it, a little glimpse at the next tier, so there is bound to always be something to see. Perfect for the nosy neighbour type, but probably not the property of choice for those who want a little more privacy. And with that, we have our first 2 houses on our residential tier, and I'm very happy with both of them. They both have very different vibes, but that is ultimately exactly what I'm looking for from these houses. And hopefully we'll be able to continue that trend next episode, where I want to tackle this row of terraced houses. While the outsides are likely to be quite similar, this will be a perfect test of how effectively we can create a unique atmosphere when using the same blueprint. But until then, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.